can't be red. That is sadly not an option here. Oh, they did start already.
It looks like they're going here.
One of them has to choose at the end of the day. What color? They both can't be red. I hope one of the refs lets them know. Glance, could you please let them know that they both can't be red?
All right, and looks like they're off here. Both red still.
Hopefully one of them changes to blue. Hopefully they have one of them change to... Okay, Glance is letting them know that both can't be red on the bingo board. One of them has to choose a color at the end of the day. And we're going to check the board here as well.
There we go.
Okay, and Parky did change the orange here. Perfect. Okay. So I'll change...
Blackblade Kindred in the middle. So that's probably not going to be a first square. And what else is on here?
There we go.
We've got...
That is a brutal middle square. I very much agree.
Tough middle. Kill a Red Wolf boss. Kill Gurrank. That's a kind of a tough one as well.
We also have Morgott here. This is a lot of late game stuff for sure. Moog, Morgott, Blackblade Kindred, Goronk.
3 Crucible Knights.
Anything rushable though at the end of the day, I don't even know. We have rushable Tree Sentinel here.
Yeah. Smithing Stones 1 and 2. It's kind of mid.
Very tough board overall, but that is definitely a board that they could both rush. Or that's a square that they could both rush. Also with the
boss on Torrent the whole fight.
Yeah.
That one should be pretty quick and easy to get.
The ones that's going to be interesting is, are they going to do Agil on Torrent, or are they going to do like Tibia Marina on Torrent, which Marina is a very popular boss to do on Torrent because it's extremely easy. You can evade a lot of the bosses with just, or the Tibia boss specifically, with just slowly trotting past most of the attacks.
Gino going for the Tree Sentinel with the +0 here.
Yep, and looks like Parky is like, I'm not even going to deal with the Tree Sentinel. Gino's probably going to be faster on that anyways. I'm just going to go straight past it. I don't even need it.
Smart move, I think. Let's see how he does. So far, pretty clean.
Looks like Parky might have that bingo board on her phone, by the way. She's like looking down, I think reading the board while she's running. And Gino almost halfway now on this Tree Sentinel fight, possibly getting the first square on the board. There's also 5 bosses in Altus Plateau, by the way, which is also more of a late game-ish type square. This board almost has everything. It has a couple rushable squares. It has a couple squares for mid game, and it has quite a few squares for late game. So overall, this is very interesting to watch to see how are they going to make their choices on routing, because these are going to be very different choices, I believe, compared
Gino
to.
Takes a death there to the Tree Sentinel. Didn't expect that, but there you go. Doesn't dismantle every boss.
Did he even get the first step grace? I hope he did. Otherwise, he's going to be all the way back in the stranded graveyard.
I think he went directly there. Oh,
okay.
No, he did.
He did grab the grace. That's at least something. Someone's at least grabbing some graces, thankfully, for dying to bosses here and there. Parky on her way to getting Torrent. She's almost there as well, which is really nice.
Getting her car.
Good. Getting a nice little Honda Accord, as we like to say.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 bosses that ride on a horse, that one's going to be very fun to watch as well, by the way, because a lot of people don't really consider a lot of bosses on horseback until they realize it, like myself, when this square is actually suggested to us by a different player, which is, it could be Knights Cavalry, it could be Tree Sentinel Duo that's on a horse, but it's also Radon that's on a horse. It's also Loretta that's on a horse. Those are also horse bosses. That count towards that square, which is very fun to watch.
Now, do you think Parky's going to go for kill a boss on Torrent off the bat here?
Potentially. I'm not sure. It looks like she's going for that regular setup that we saw Aggie do in the last match, and also Mitch do, which is the strength tier pickup into Golden Vow, into possibly Alexander's Jar Shard, and just getting some of the tools early on to make things a little bit easier for them.
All right, and it looks like Gino just about done with the Tree Sentinel here. Just a few more hits, one more bleed proc should do it. This time looks like no mistakes.
Looks like he might not even get that bleed proc this time, to be
And
honest.
as I say that, he does eat a shield smash there.
Oh, he does
Gets
get the heal up.
up. Okay, but it looks like he should be able to... you know what? I'm not going to say it.
Hey, you can say it. It's okay. It's okay. I've commentated Curse quite a few times in my life, and I'm not going to lie. It's a little fun.
There it is. He gets the Tree Sentinel.
There we go. GG's to Gino being on the board now. Has that top right square. 1-0.
I don't think that's wholly unexpected from Parky. I don't think she should be surprised to see that.
Yeah, not at all. I think she was expecting it since she did skip that square. I'm pretty sure she was expecting that square to be on the board sooner or later.
Yeah. So nothing really given away there. But let's see, where is she going right now? Just doing setup, it looks like still.
I'm assuming it looks like she's going straight to Liurnia instead. She's not doing a boss on Torrent. She's, I think, just going straight for setup at this point in time. And maybe just trying to get a stronger weapon. But I'm wondering what exactly she's rushing Liurnia for, if not possibly maybe going to Volcano Manor early on to get the +5 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah.
What does having that corner square opens up 3 potential lines for Gino? Just looking to see if any of those are particularly easy. But none of them look fast.
This is
Maybe
definitely
the
going to take a
top
while.
row.
Yeah. The nice thing, to be honest, is that Renala, after she summons all 4 different spirits square, one of my favorites, to be honest, because it is definitely pain and misery incarnate on that square, waiting to have her summon all 4 different ones, wolves, bloodhound knight, troll, and dragon, and having players waiting for that square to be fulfilled and just waiting for her to cast something is always really enjoyable. I've had matches myself where I think it was like one of the more popular ones was between actually Aggie and I, where we both were on the same square and both of us yelling at Renala to please, for the love of God, just spawn something else other than dogs, because we're not getting the spirit summons that we need to complete that square, and then dying in the process. It is more fun for the viewers than it is for the players.
I didn't even know she could summon a Bloodhound Knight for the longest time. I just had never seen that one.
Yeah. It's definitely very fun to watch from a viewer's perspective. Looks like she might be prepping for Thops' key by chance.
Yeah, that was Thops there, so she might have it in her head to go get Thops' key, which would open up potentially row 1 or column 1 or row 4.
Mm-hmm. And it looks
Soldier
like
of Godric, bare fists only.
Yep.
I've never even considered trying that.
It's not that bad. So damage-wise, it's not horrible, but a lot of people either go for the charged R2 attacks and try to just get punches in as fast as possible, or some people even just do the parry strat, just continuously parry Godric over and over again, which is a little bit of a safer strat, to be honest. But with the charged R2s and just punching away instead is faster. I think Gino did test that at some point to see which one's faster. The interesting thing that we actually also learned, by the way, from that fight is backstabbing an enemy actually does less riposte damage than parrying and front thrusting the enemy, which I thought was a very interesting thing that they added into the game, that when you bare fist Godric in the back, it's only 14 damage, but if you actually parry and then front riposte Godric in the chest, it's like 26 damage. It's almost like basically double in that sense, which I thought was an interesting thing that they implemented in the game.
Yeah, I think I just kind of noticed that by feeling when I was playing the game casually, but I hadn't confirmed it. It was just one of those things I'm like, that doesn't feel like it's doing as much damage. Mm-hmm. So very interesting to have that confirmation. And yeah, Parky is absolutely rushing through the world at the moment.
Looks like she... Yeah, taking the jump over to the Academy key here, jumping onto that pillar. Make sure you don't aggro that Rune Bear, obviously. Oh, she's actually going towards EG instead. I guess she just doesn't feel comfortable with that other jump skip over the bridge, which honestly, it is a little bit of a scary skip, and does take quite a bit of practice. I've definitely lost a lot of runs trying to do the cool pillar jump instead, and failing it multiple times. We even saw Mitch trying to do that in his matches and missing it a couple of times as well. Does take a lot of practice to get that right.
Yeah, and like you said, she's taking the teleporter over towards EG.
She might actually be doing the Revenant on horseback, which would be a very interesting way of going about it. That is 2 squares together. The only thing is, if you get knocked off the horse, you have to reset the whole fight. So if you're doing Revenant, are you going to do it with the heal spell to make sure it's stun locked, or are you going to try and actually do it with the Uchi on horseback? Because that sounds actually miserable, if I'm being completely honest. Doing a Revenant that's known for its speed and dodges and just true combo attacks, that's just going to be an absolute pain in the neck.
Yeah, no, I can't say I'd go for that risk myself, but I'm also not competing, so it's easy for me to say take the easy choice.
Yeah, I very much agree. It looks like that Gino also just showed up at the gates here at Raya Lucaria, jumping also down, looking like he's going for the Academy key though, not going towards EG. I'm assuming he's going to be rushing Thops' key as well by chance, seeing that as a rushable square.
Yeah, I think he is as well. I think they're both gonna be racing for that one here. Maybe not though.
Maybe she's going for Margit here. For a lot of people that don't know, if you go to Margit and just actually bone out, for example, you can then actually talk to Melina and go to the round hole table if you attempt fighting Morgott one time. So if you really need to go to the round hole table and you don't want to go to Kaled, for example, and activate Melina that way, you can go straight to Margit instead, bone out, and then sit at a grace, and you can go straight to the round hole table.
Yeah, and that's at least she is going to Margit here. See if she actually fights him. I'm not sure that there's a square that she could tick off with the fight, so she'll probably just use the homeward bone. What is it called in this game?
Memory of Grace, I believe is what it's called.
She is fighting them, so maybe wants the runes.
Getting 2 unsheaths is really, really nice. One more unsheath, and that should stagger Margit here.
Ooh, doesn't though.
And must have had a poise reset, yeah. Poise timers on different bosses. It's a little hard to know how long how much time you have on each boss. I believe on Millennia it's like 10 seconds, but I believe on I think Radigan or whatever, it's like 4. I don't know. It's like some of them have like really insane poise reset timers that are really hard to deal with if you're not fast enough.
Yeah, so I imagine she's doing this for the runes, and then might pick up something like heal for the Revenant.
Running out of blue juice here, and Gino already in Raya Lucaria, by the way. I'm assuming just rushing Thops' key at this point. There's nothing else really in Raya Lucaria. Looking at the board here.
Unless she wants to sit, he
Red Wolf
wants to sit around in Renala's fight, waiting for all the summons.
Yeah,
I mean,
completely missed Red Wolf, by the way.
Squares.
There is Red Wolf on column 4, row 5, on the bottom here. I completely missed that for some reason, but so you'd get Thops' key and also get a boss fight on the way, which is really, really nice. Because you have to kill Red Wolf anyways to get the Thops' key.
Oof, Parky eats a couple attacks there and dies to Margit. That phase 2 sometimes can be really tricky if you're not used to fighting it for very long. Some of those attacks come out really fast and have really long combo strings.
Yeah, it's like I think we talked about this last week as well, is the fact that Marga is probably one of the most complicated bosses in the game, with having different attack strings, different responses to different attacks, and just overall, for an intro boss, having 2 different phases that are so complex, it's just, I think it's a great choice, but also a very hard boss to deal with early on.
Absolutely, and just all those delayed attacks. Like, some of those attacks feel like you're sitting there for 20 minutes waiting for him to finish it up, and you're just like, are we gonna finish this, or are you just gonna hold that hand up for another 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think that's very interesting to see the difference between Dark Souls 3, for example, where all the attacks, it feels like some of them coming out in the speed of light, and this game almost the exact opposite of delaying called the Elden Ring for a good reason, with so many bosses just holding on to attacks instead and like really making the players just sit there and think about like, okay, when is this actually going to hit at this point, and choke and then get hit by that hesitation.
Gino making quick work of the Red Wolf of Radagon here. Gonna pick up that square pretty quick. And Parky did get, I believe, go for the Golden Vow Ash of War there.
Looks like she might be grabbing Alexander's Jar Shard on top of that. There is the 2 legendary armaments square, by the way, where they could kill Bernal, for example, and then go towards Liurnia, carry a manor with that sort of Knight and Flame sword to grab those 2 legendary armaments, since Bernal does drop the Devourer's Scepter as a second one. And Gino finishing Red Wolf here, by the way. Nice and clean fight. Does claim that square. GG to Gino. 2-0 currently on the board.
So now he'll for sure grab Thop's Key.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And do you think we'll see him go into Renala?
This early on, I'm not too sure, because he doesn't have a somber weapon at this point in time. The Uchi is definitely not a bad weapon to use. Pod Friend real quick, by the way. Pod Friend for Parky here. Have a good rest of your night, Alexander. Thanks so much for the Jar Shard, buddy. I don't think necessarily that he'll do Renala that early on, if I'm being completely honest.
No, I don't think he will. Just the unupgraded Uchi, I'm sure he could, but I don't think it's in his best interest.
Yeah, it looks like that he's actually using the money that he just got from Red Wolf to buy the heal spell from Korhan here, so that he can do the Royal Revenant healing attack instead. As we mentioned, that is probably the best way of going about Royal Revenant right next to EG.
Yep. That's what I imagine. That's what I thought maybe Parky was thinking. Kill Margit, get the heal spell with those runes, and then go do Royal Revenant. With that death, though, it looks like she is pivoting. Maybe thinking Gino will be going for it, which that would be a correct assumption at this point.
Yeah, thinking that Gino's going for that Thopsis Key is probably the correct assumption. Just for the fact that he already killed Red Wolf. And sadly, I mean, not sadly necessarily, she didn't even set up for Raya Lucaria anyways, doesn't have the Academy Key to even get in. So at the end of the day, she didn't really lose too much time. She still has the grace for EG, and could still get the Revenant kill if she really wanted to. But looks like that she's just setting up for something else instead. She is grabbing Lilies and possibly grabbing the Sleep Pot recipe as well for Noble instead, and maybe trying to get a +9 weapon. There is that kill Rykard and discard Serpent Hunter +0 square on column 1, row 3, so she might be considering actually going for more of a late game type approach like Aggie did last match of, you know what, I'll let Gino have a couple of squares early on, but once I get my stuff rolling and going, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom through some of these other squares that are on the board because I have a stronger weapon.
Yep. And it looks like Gino is heading into, if I'm not mistaken, into the Royal Revenant coming up.
Yeah, it looks like he might be grabbing that Grace real quick and then probably hopping over to do that quick kill on the Royal Revenant, which you can do on horseback as well, by the way. The interesting thing is also that Urgent Heal would not work. It has to be the normal healing spell. Urgent Heal only heals you and doesn't have an AoE type attack field or radius, but the normal heal spell does. And yeah, as we can see here, he is already on horseback and ready to get into that lair for the Royal Revenant, entering here real quick. This is going to be a very, very fast kill, most likely. Enters it, gets on horseback, as we mentioned, is probably the best way of doing this. Gets right behind the Royal Revenant, gets that first spell off, casting that second spell, and there we go, on horseback kill. GG for Gino, claiming Royal Revenant on that board.
Lot of pressure now on that fifth row there. What do we need else? 30 faith.
30 faith and Goronk. And Goronk is going to be a little bit of a longer square, to be honest. Like, unless Gino is so insane that he can hitless Goronk, he'll get one shot there every single time, especially with the really lack of damage of above +0 Uchi at this point. So I'm assuming he might just hold off on that for a while, unless... I'm not sure if this actually works. I've never tried. Just grab Poison Mist from Weeping and let Goronk just sit there and poison to death, because he wouldn't aggro anyways, most likely, I think.
We have to keep in mind, Gino is the guy who beat the entire game with his bare fists. he's well acquainted with Gurranq.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see it, but I don't think he is, and it doesn't look like that's where he's going at the moment. So
Looks like he might be going
well,
for the 2 legendary armaments, as we mentioned, the Bernal dropping that Devourer's Scepter, and he's going to go ahead and unsheath a couple times on Bernal here.
yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, 30 faith is a hefty investment, but it would put pressure on Parky to go defeat Gurranq.
Yeah, that's correct.
And he could then go do other things.
The thing that's going to be interesting, though, is like knowing that Gurranq is available so early on, or as a pressure square so early on. I don't think would be priority regardless, but just because you're going to be assuming that the other player isn't ready for that either, but just has that advantage of having that line possibly prepped.
Yep. Yeah.
Looks like she's currently going for the Bloodhound Fang Evergel, possibly grabbing her Somber weapon to be ready for the late game. She did go to, I believe, or was prepping for Volcano Manor at the with those sleeping pots that she was grabbing with the Physic Tier or Physic Flask, and also grabbing the weapon of her choice, which is Bloodhound.
She misses the unsheath to start there. Bloodhound Knight does have a couple iframes when he spawns in there. I've definitely missed with that a few times myself.
Yeah, I feel you on that. She does get the riposte on him, though, which, to be fair, with Bloodhound, it's such a weird positioning on Bloodhound to get that riposte. I've missed it so many times where I would stand right in front of him and I still wouldn't get it. He would just stand up and then start attacking me again. It's a little bit of a weird window to get that riposte off.
One more unsheath if she can just avoid. There it is. That'll do it.
Very, very
well done
nice.
to her. Very smooth there on the Bloodhound Knight.
GG's to Parky for grabbing up that weapon.
Picking up the Bloodhound Fang now. She can potentially get rolling here now that she's got that weapon. It looks like she's going to. I thought for a second she was going to EG, but she's going over to the Bestial Sanctum.
Yep. I think she might just be grabbing that Grace for Gurranq for later on, just so she has that prep, but then also grabbing, Knight's Cavalry as well, because we can cheese that boss for 42,000 runes for possibly forcing 30 Faith and rushing that square so that she can block row 5, but then losing a lot of stats and the progress of that. Mm-hmm. And Gino going for sort of Knight and Flame here to grab that acquire 2 legendary armaments square.
Yep. Yeah, if he gets when he gets the 2 legendary armaments. Oh, I'm lost it on the board here. Where is that one?
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah, it's sorry, row 4, column 3.
Yeah.
But we have Parky here trying to figure out. She does see that Gino did mark that board. Now it's 5 squares to Gino for 0 on Parky at the moment here. She's trying to get prepped and possibly forcing that 30 Faith square with Knight's Cavalry cheese, which she has been practicing, so she should be able to get this square pretty easily at this point. Mm-hmm. And it looks like Gino might be grabbing Alexander's Jar Shard as he's going through the camp here real quick. Grabbing that Exalted Flesh maybe as well.
Yep.
I think he's going to go for that Physic Flask that he needs for the tiers at some point. And then potentially... Oh, he's not going for Alexander. He's riding right past it. Maybe he's considering actually using the Devourer's Scepter. He just checked the stats on that real quick. It is a Faith weapon. So if you're going 30 Faith, you might as well check the stats to see if you can use that weapon to your advantage.
Yeah.
Ash of War is terrible on that, though.
What is Parky's plan? She's gonna get this Knight's Cavalry. What do you think her path forward is at this point? Seeing all these squares that Gino's got while she's been doing her setup.
Honestly, after forcing 30 Faith, I'm not too sure because you're going to have to make a choice now. Okay, now I just dumped 30 Faith stats onto my character. Am I going to utilize that 30 Faith? Am I going to go for like a Catch Flame build to try and at least make some use of those stats? Or is it just going to be a huge, stat sink and I still use the Uchi or the Bloodhound Fang that you just picked up?
Did she potentially go for Rykard and discard the Serpent Hunter?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, why not? It's 120,000 runes. That would still help you out at the end of the day. And you can get a +9 Bloodhound Fang if you do the Somber 7 jump as well.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of time as well. And with Gino already being 5 squares ahead, I don't know if that's worth your time at this point in the match.
Surprised Gino hasn't gotten Thop's key yet. Returned Thop's key. But I suppose it's not really necessarily in his win condition at the moment.
Right. It looks like GG's to Parky, by the way, getting that Knight's Cavalry cheese. She's currently sitting at 44,000 runes, trying to grab these other runes as well real quick. And I don't think she's leveled up a single time yet, so she would be able to just force level 30 Faith right now, dumping all those stats in, while Gino's going straight to Goronk as well. I'm assuming he's just grabbing that Grace for future uses, or he might just try and do that fight right now.
Just go for it. I feel like that's a 15-minute fight at this point for him.
Yeah, and the funny part is he's possibly thinking, Goronk is going to give me a lot of runes to work with after I kill him. But surprise, surprise, actually, killing Goronk only gives you 3,000 runes. So killing him, even though he's in Dragon Barrel, is not going to be worth it to rush 30 Faith. But it looks like that Gino is leaving that area instead and not doing that fight.
Not going for Blackblade Kindred either? Doesn't want to pick up that middle square?
Yeah, just quick, column 3. Why not?
It's easy. How hard can it be?
But we are looking at Parky possibly actually forcing Grail here with her Uchi, going for bleeds, trying to get enough runes to actually get that 30 Faith block. Well, Gino is just riding his way over to the same area, possibly going for Knight's Cavalry cheese as well. I'm not sure exactly what he's thinking, or might just grab the deck disc for later on stuff as well.
Yeah. Well, I suppose Gino's already picked up the kill a boss on Torrent. I suppose he doesn't have a unique boss power, but I was about to ask, do you think does killing Grail on horseback, like she's doing, count as killing a boss on horseback?
No, because as you basically answered your own question there. Since Grail does not have a health bar, Grail does not count as a boss. So this is only meant to be as like a time sink square. Also, that Grail defeating without status effects and killing other dragons still does not make this a boss. It's just an area mob, if you want to consider it that way.
Yeah.
But this is probably the only way that she's going to get enough money consistently without possibly dying to a boss over and over again to block that 35th square.
What about Draconic Tree Sentinel cheese? And then that opens up, but she's got to do so much to get into Lindell in the first place.
Has to get deck this medallion, or has to go kill Makar, or has to go kill Verge Abductors. She has a wall regardless of where she's looking at this point in time.
Yeah.
And a lot of travel time to get to DTS.
Takes so long to bleed down Grail.
Yeah, especially if you're not using bleed grease. In this case, honestly, if I were Parky, I would have, instead of used the Uchi, I would have gone back to Gatefront real quick. There is one of the carts has a flail, and that flail spins so fast that the bleed proc is actually faster than the Uchi itself. So I would grab that real quick, put some points real quick into Dex, and then just use that flail instead and just bleed Grail that way.
Gino getting the Knights Cavalry cheese as well there. I'm always amused watching the Knights Cavalry just leap to his death there. It makes me chuckle every time.
It is a nice cheese. I do have to say it's been extremely useful for no-hit runs. It's extremely useful for even speed runs. I don't know if they use that in speed runs, because most of the time they're rushing Margit and Godric anyways to get enough runes. But overall, just having that, especially for bingo as well, having that cheese there to consistently rely on 42,000 runes is very nice.
Yep.
But it looks like Gino currently possibly going to Weeping at this point. Or he might be grabbing Bloodhound Fang here as his weapon, because he sees he has Golden Halberd, but maybe, and with Golden Halberd being a faith weapon as well, he could use that technically, or the Devour Scepter, since he might, stat sink 30 faith into that, or just, not, and have Parky waste all of her money and stats on 30 faith and be like, haha, technically got you, you had to block me, and now guess what, you don't have stats to do some of the bosses, and I do. I have that money for my weapon, I have that money for my upgrades. That's where, like, letting people get squares is also beneficial to you sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like that he is going for that Bloodhound Fang instead, so he might be using that weapon for the rest of the run here.
Yep. Parky still whacking away on the foot of Grail here.
And it looks like we are currently 30 minutes in now into this match, and we are still sitting at currently 5-0, but potentially here, Parky getting her first square by blocking that Faith stat with square. Nice
Gino's
strafe
going
by
off
Gino.
some nice strafes there.
Yeah, and Mitch did show that off too in one of his matches. It's really fun to watch. I'm not going to lie. I have to learn that strafe because I still can't do that.
Yeah, it's flashy for sure, and it's puts you in a nice position to get unsheath.
Oh, yeah.
And there it is again. Yep.
Very, very
Beautiful.
nice. And what's really nice is that attack will always happen because when you're close enough to Bloodhound Fang, he'll always do that spin attack every single time. Yep. So you can rely on just strafing it every single time and then going for that punish right afterwards.
And Parky gets the runes from Grail and is putting them into Faith for the block there.
And there is the stat dump into the square claim. That is 5-1 now to Parky. And Gino does see that she parked, or that she parked on that 30 Faith square. That was not intentional, but hey, yo, I'll take that.
Did she park her car?
Park her car on 30
Faith?
Exactly. Went ahead, threw the keys into the car, locked and loaded on 30 Faith.
There it is.
Looks like she might be grabbing the Sombers 1 through 4 and then upgrading her Bloodhound's Fang to +4. And I don't know what she's going to do after this at this point. Mm-hmm. Is she still going to do Thops's Key?
Yeah, I mean, not a bad one to go for. Gets her another square on the board. Kind of blocks off that first column in case Gino was thinking of doing any of that. Not a terrible choice for her to go for.
Yeah. It's definitely still I think at this point, if you're seeing that Thops's Key is available, even though Gino killed Red Wolf, I think you could still go for it at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like there's,
I think so
he's
too.
most likely doing other things anyways, like prepping column 3 as his possible bingo line. So might as well go for Thops's Key instead.
Yeah. And Gino going for another Knight's Cavalry here.
And it looks like that, Gino's going to be going for that kill 5 bosses that ride a horse. Knight's Cavalry being one of them. He did kill Tree Sentinel, by the way, as well. So this is going to be his second boss already on horseback.
His third, unless does the Knight's
Cavalry. Oh, the Knight's Cavalry too. No, you're right. That's correct. This is actually his third boss on horseback. Knight's Cavalry cheese does actually count towards that as well. I totally forgot about that for some reason. So forgettable, You're there for 2 seconds. He falls off. It doesn't really register that it's even a boss.
And you don't really see it because you're quitting out for 20 minutes first. Just trying to get it to trigger. And there it is.
And looks like that he is currently at 3 horses now. He could go do Loretta. He could go for another Knight's Cavalry in Weeping. He could go for another Knight's Cavalry in Caelid as well, by the way. There are 2 Knight's Cavalries in Caelid. Or he just leaves it for now and goes for something else.
Is Parky going towards the Omen Killer, maybe for a third column? Second row?
Yeah, it looks like it. That's the only thing that's really in this area is Omen Killers, so she might just try and block column 3 at this point.
Column 3, it's pretty smart one to go for there if Gino's going for the kill five bosses that ride a horse.
And as we see Gino hopping over into Weeping, as he is definitely going for that Knight's Cavalry in Weeping Peninsula, trying to get that square there. With Parky possibly blocking column 3 here, I'm assuming Gino then, if he does get that 5 bosses that ride a horse square, he's going to go for that row 1 type of bingo instead. Or potentially the diagonal.
Parky does grab the Grace there before going into the Omen Killer fight. So if she does get chunked down like we saw happen to Dino, it'll be quick to get back.
Yeah, at least has that backup. Yeah, correct. Does she know where Omen Killer actually is?
That is the question.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I had this square on the board, I did not know either because it is a little bit of a weird spot to be in, or since it's so dark in that area. But she does find the way to Omen Killer, And it looks like that Gino is on his 4th Knights Cavalry, which is the one in Weeping. I think she might be trying to take out the dogs first, so she doesn't deal with that in the Omen Killer fight.
She just doesn't want to risk having them aggro, even if she starts the fight without them. And I don't blame her. Those dogs can be insanely annoying in this fight.
Very much agree. It looks like here GG's to Gino getting that 4th Knights Cavalry. He could either go to Caelid now and get that other Knights Cavalry. He could go to Liurnia. There's another Knights Cavalry. There's actually 2 Knights Cavalries in Liurnia as well. And he does have access to that one, and that's the one he is going for. Is right outside the main academy gate is the Knights Glaive Knights Cavalry that he will go for instead as his 5th ride a horse boss. Or never mind, he's moving away.
Making quick work of the Omen there. And absolutely a bunch of the Ash of War there takes care of the Omen Killer, no problem. Has no issues with that.
You see Gino reading the board and being a little surprised that she got that pretty fast there, and realizing that his column 3 is blocked now, so he didn't technically waste time on those Knights Cavalries because he can still get that row 1 bingo, but it still definitely blocks that column 3 that he was kind of aiming for, as we saw. And he might move into more of a majority mentality rather than trying to get bingo lines, because potentially Parky might be blocking every single bingo that he's going to try and force.
I can't even think of where 3 Crucible Knights are that aren't like deep in the game besides the Everjail Crucible Knight. I'm trying to think of where 2 more easy to access Crucible Knights are.
So, yeah, for the Crucible Knights, you have the Everjail one. There is one in Stormville, actually, in a very secluded area in Stormville.
True.
You do a little bit of parkouring. There is that one that's on the cliffside. You can grab that one. That's pretty easy. You can do the Crucible and Misbegotten duo fight in Caelid. That is a Crucible Knight Misbegotten, and there, that would count towards that Crucible Knight square. But also then in Liurnia, you can grab the Imbued Sword Key at the 4 Belfries and take one of the teleporters. That'll take you to Shiofra, where one of the Crucible Knights is just hanging out at one of the ruins, just sitting there by himself. That would count as well. Those are pretty accessible Crucible Knights. And it looks like that Gino GG's just claimed that 5 bosses that ride a horse square and is now 6-2 in squares. And it looks like that Parky is going to be rushing those Crucible Knights.
Start on the Crucible Knights.
Yeah.
Yeah, going to look for that top row block there.
She has to be careful here. Not going for the parries like Aggie did in his last match. She might just be going for just pure brawn, trying to force him down, force his health bar down without parrying, which is a little bit of a hard. Oh, never mind.
There's the parry. Yeah.
Never mind. I'm gonna shut up.
The Ash of War follow-up's kind of dangerous on Crucible Knights because it puts you back in there, and Crucible Knights tend to have enough poise that they don't stagger on your first hit on that. So, as you see there, she goes back in and gets stomped.
Luckily, she does have some Sacred Tears to give her a bit more extra healing, but it looks like Crucible Knight is going into phase 2 here. She should be okay. Was a little too far away for that jump over.
Yeah, no, I never go for the jump. Too scary for me.
And it looks like Gino is currently making his way to Caelid, possibly doing that Crucible Knight duo fight that we were talking about, by the way. He does have a +4 Bloodhound Fang, so that fight shouldn't be that bad at all. That Misbegotten does die pretty quickly in that fight. That will give him 2 squares, finishing Crucible Knights and the duo fight as well. Plus, it will play into the column 2, row 1, kill 3 duo trio fights as well. So he will get 2 squares off of that fight, plus work towards another square already on top of that.
Parky getting the jump over on that one there, no problem. Let's see if she can get it this time.
Oh! Gets stib-stabbed in the blib-blab, kind of dying there and fading away into ashes. That is definitely not going to be very useful for her. That's a huge time sink, which really sucks. Especially on Crucible Knight. Like we said before in the last match, that Crucible Knight is so tanky that redoing that fight is going to be a big pain in the neck, because you sink so much time into that fight that now you have to do it all over again because they're so tanky. So a lot of people think that
pivoting off of it.
Yeah, it looks like that a lot of people think that 3 Crucible Knights is an easy pickup, when in reality, if you do screw that fight up once, you already have a huge time sink on your hands, which really sucks.
Yep. She goes back into Margaret here. Should be a quick and easy fight with the Bloodhound Fang.
Yeah. As we can see, a lot of damage here. I think she also has Alexander's Jar Shard, which helps a lot here as well. Really nice damage, nice stagger. Already pushes him into phase 2. Should get Another, oh, never mind. Sadly, he hopped backwards. Sometimes he doesn't hop backwards. Gets a nice roll here. Should get another stagger here soon. There's the bleed proc. Oh!
No.
It gets
That's
knocked off.
The classic falling off the arena in Margit's fight. We've all been there. We all know that pain.
That stab attack has so much pushback. It is brutal.
Well, you hate to see that.
It looks like Gino's going to be taking the teleporter from this fort here straight to the Radon area. That pushback is insane on that stab move.
Yeah. I did notice a few times she did a Bloodhound's finesse really close to the edge, and I was trying to remember if the finesse jump back can actually... You can jump off the map with it.
You cannot. I think there's actually a code. Yeah. I think someone else proved that if you're actually actively swinging on your character, it does not push you off the map. The only thing that pushes you off the map is jumping or rolling. So if you're actively R1ing at the edge of the map and towards the edge, it would not actually move you over it.
Oh, but she makes quick work of them this time.
There we go. Absolutely beautiful.
Crushing.
Very nice. She gets an extra talisman pouches. This is really useful, by the way. Talisman pouches are extremely useful for, like, you know, the Alexander Jar Shard, and then possibly having that Axe Talisman for extra R2 damage. You know, also possibly if you're killing the Black Knife Assassin, having Riposte on heal. Some of the early talismans that you can get using more than just one is really, really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Pargy having a tough time with a few bosses here. Has lost a little bit of time there, but it looks like she's kind of got it rolling now. Should be able to start picking up some of these squares now that she's got the build assembled in a way.
And it looks like that Gino is making his way straight to that duo fight that we were talking about. Is almost there as well. Has to take the ladder upwards and then can just jump straight across. Should be in that fight in the next couple of minutes here. And Parky going ahead and upgrading her Bloodhound's Fang even more. I thought that was already maxed out, but I guess she had a couple more upgrades to go, which is really, really nice. The question is now, like, what is she going to go for? She killed Margit. She had money. Does she go for the Smithing Stone Bell Bearings at this point? Does she...
Now, did she do that to upgrade the Bloodhound Fang to now go do the Crucible Knights?
Potentially, yeah, to make that fight a little bit easier. Did Gino even do the Crucible Knight Everjail? I think this is his...
No, he hasn't done the Everjail Crucible Knight yet.
This is his first Crucible Knight, right?
That is correct. As far as I remember, this would be his first one. Okay. These guys with their flamethrowers are
this is a waiting game for sure. Just sitting and waiting for them to finish their job, they can run past it, which makes it a little bit easier for sure.
Yeah. Picks up the Grace for safety. Smart move. You'd hate to have to go through all of that again.
I mean, it would bring it all the way back to the bridge as well. It wouldn't just be, you know, the inside of the castle, which is definitely very brutal. Looks like she is going to go ahead and try to do that Crucible Knight Everjail yet again. And this time with a bit more damage under her belt and also a little bit of more health, I believe. Her vigor does seem a little bit higher than last time.
It looks like we're going to have a little bit of a race for the Crucible Knight square. But Gino does also get... This will count for his duo trio bosses square.
And also the Crucible Knight and Misbegotten Warrior duo on row 2, column 5 as well. This fight specifically is going to be playing into that. So he's double dipping the chip here, as we can see, trying to get some momentum on 3 different squares, which is really, really nice. Does miss the second Ash of War there, though.
2 intense boss fights going at the same time here. Both could be pivotal for this match here.
Yep. And he's got to keep in mind that Crucible Knight is coming in now. That Crucible Knight is either based on half health on the Misbegotten or time. So either way, that Crucible Knight is going to come in regardless of if you're fast or if you're just taking your time on this fight.
Parky gets the jump on the move this time again. The tail swipe. It's hard to avoid that one if you want the punish. Sometimes I just eat them, you know?
And yeah, and it looks like that Gino does have to deal with 2 bosses at the same time right now, maybe trying to get that extra Ash of War off on that Misbegotten. Looks like he might die here if he's not paying attention. He does have like
the Misbegotten's almost dead. There, the Misbegotten goes down.
the rolled R1 fade away on that Misbegotten. Now he tries to get some heals in, gets some mana back real quick to try and deal with this Crucible Knight at this point. Parky does kill the Crucible Knight in the Evergel, finishes her boss fight. This is looking very interesting now. Let's go move over to Gino here real quick, trying to deal with this. He's not parrying the Crucible Knight either. Is low on health yet again. Trying to get a shield attack potentially.
Yeah. Not sure how many flasks he has left. The fact that he's not healing.
I didn't even know he could jump over that.
A lot of swipe moves where they go in circles, you don't realize it, but a lot of those can be avoided just by jumping. I've learned so many that I had no idea.
Very interesting. Yeah, it looks like, as you guys can see, by the way, if you hit that shield with the Crucible, he always does the same move, and you can just strafe it to the right or to the left, and that way you can get a punish in. He does get the stagger here on the Crucible Knight as well. Possibly a phase 2 here soon from that Crucible Knight. Not just yet. Does have the Earthquake attack. Does the jump attack again here. Very nice, very nice. Phase 2, here we go. Get some R1s in. Does he jump over?
No.
Jit does not do the cool jump. Big Sag.
Doesn't
big
go
Sag.
for style points.
Looks like that Parky, by the way, is going into Stormville right now. Possibly going for... I'm not exactly sure what she's in here for. There isn't a wet plate square.
Gino using that heal.
She's going for the other Crucible Knight in Stormville.
Gino using the heal spell there to get a little health back.
Yeah, looks like that he ran out of red flasks. And Parky making her way to that Stormville Crucible Knight that I was mentioning, taking that elevator all the way upstairs to those birds with the barrel explosions.
Love those guys. Super glad they made their way into Elden Ring.
Oh, yes, birds. My favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Birds, the dogs in air.
Yes.
And nice dodges from Gino here. One attack would literally kill him if he does not dodge correctly, so he's got to be really careful here. Does get another jump attack after that tail attack, which is really, really nice. Gets a riposte. Possibly does an Ash of War here, or just plays it safely. Goes ahead and dodges. Parky making her way over to the birds with their explosions, possibly trying to... Oh, she did die on the way. Those explosions are devastating. Does get attacked again by these birds.
Oh. 1 pixel of health.
Vitality isn't real, ladies and gentlemen. There is the jump attack. GG's to Gino. And claims the square. There we go. That is 7-2 for Gino. Now Parky sees that he did get that Crucible Knight Misbegotten duo fight. Now she's probably thinking, well, crap. Has been doing Crucible Knights this whole time? Am I behind on Crucible Knights? Am I ahead on Crucible Knights? She doesn't really know, but she's still going to go for that second Crucible Knight regardless, and possibly racing for Crucible Knights with Gino. And Gino going straight for that Evergel. Yep,
Gino's definitely going to be trying to finish out these Crucible Knights. We'll see if Parky can get the last 2 before Gino can.
Actually, it looks like that Gino's going for the Demi-Human Chief duo fight instead. He's trying to force the duo fight square.
Yeah. Any duo fight will do it for the duo trio bosses square there, which is also on that first row. So it looks like.
Sorry.
No, this will be his second duo.
This would be his second, right? Okay. I was trying to make sure I'm not miscounting here. I thought it was a second, but for some reason I thought maybe he already had a third.
Parky doing her second Crucible Knight here.
And 2 boss fights going on yet again. Lots of action.
And they, once again, both
heavens.
of them very important.
Already melts the first Demi-Human Chief there. He only has 1 more left.
This is a very, very early game boss, so unsurprising that they melt.
Yeah, there we go. That is a duo fight again in Gino's pocket, his second duo fight. Parky almost done with her second Crucible Knight as well. She could go to Liurnia and use that imbued sword key that I was talking about and get her a third Crucible Knight and possibly blocking row 1. And Gino going back to Kaled and doing the Pumpkin duo fight most likely here, as he's currently at the Rotten View balcony.
Yep. If Parky's able to get a third Crucible Knight here, it would be a good block, because I think Gino is committing to that top row right now.
Yep, that is correct. He is definitely at least trying to go for the duo trio fight. I don't think he expects Parky to block Crucible Knights for some reason, so he's not really rushing that. And to be fair, I would be rushing the Crucible Knights especially giving away that you've just done Crucible Knight and Misbegotten Duo. That kind of shows that you're, at least working towards that square, and it is a possibility in row 1 bingo. So I would definitely force that personally, but he thinks that Duo Trio is more important.
Yep. But it does look like Parky heading over to the Belfries there.
Mm-hmm. And 50 minutes
Gino.
into the game, currently looking at 7-2, possibly 8-2, as Gino's going ahead to do the pumpkin head duo fight here in Caelid.
And I guess that's the thing. Even if that bingo does get blocked, I'm sure Gino also thinking about potentially going for the majority win, 13 squares. He does have quite a few of them already, and I don't think he would need many late game squares to finish majority.
Yep. After this, he would only need 5 more squares to win for majority, and he has enough time to do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of gameplay left, or lots of time for gameplay left.
And as we did mention, looks like that she is actually going for the Tower of Belfries here, trying to grab that imbued sword key straight to the Crucible Knight there. And he does mark that square, kill 3 duo trio bosses. Mm-hmm. And so Parky should see that now that he did mark that square and didn't go for Crucible Knights right away. Looks like he's currently in Weeping. Is he possibly... He's going for Sacred Flasks at this point, most likely, going up to that church to grab that extra Sacred Tear and then just making his way through. I think Weeping has 3 Sacred Tears that he can grab, so he's going for that +7 instead.
How many runes does he have currently? Could he...
oh, yeah, hold on. Let me see here.
Could he be thinking about maybe...
Could
he be thinking about maybe gracing away 50,000 runes?
He has 30,000, so he does have a lot of money.
How confident does he feel in his build currently? Could he just do the rest of it with what he is right now?
He probably could.
50K and...
He probably could. I would not be surprised, if I'm being honest, if he just does the Memory of Grace and then goes straight into just majority.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I could see that as well. Parky going towards the Enchanted Belfries here for the last Crucible Knight.
And since Gino actually also killed Red Wolf, he could go straight to Bernala and do that square as well. Like, he's got a lot of options at this point. He could also do just Soldier of Godric, Bare Fist only. That's also an option.
A lot of quick easy enough squares left for him to pick up. And you said, what, 5 left he needs?
Correct. For 13, that would be majority at this point. And Parky...
So
go ahead, sorry.
Bernala, Sacred Flasks, Soldier of Godric, Memory of Grace, Thop's Key.
Yeah, and he already has everything prepped technically. He has some of them halfway, so he could definitely rush all those squares and just get majority instead within the next 15 minutes, almost. 15, 20 minutes, that's all he would need to complete those squares. And Parky here at her 3rd Crucible Knight. We're currently in Shiofra River. I hope I said that right. I've been corrected multiple times.
I mean... Does anyone really know?
Apparently, what is it? It's Irish, I think, so the Irish people should know.
Yeah.
But if Parky does grab these Crucible Knights and starts blocking some squares, she might have a chance at forcing this more and more into majority.
If she could pick up Thop's Key, I don't think she's far away from that. She would have to go through Red Wolf still, but certainly if Gino leaves that for later, she could snag that from him. Force him to look at something else.
She's not going for parries this time, which is a little surprising. And it looks like that Gino is just making his way over to the other churches, just forcing that Sacred Flask +7.
Parky already about a quarter through the health bar here. Seems to found the groove on the Crucible Knights. Caught by the phase transition.
There we go. There's that jump. Yeah, I'm guessing we won't see Blackblade Kindred in this matchup. We also won't be seeing Moog or Morgoth, sadly, as much as I'd like to. But it looks like that this matchup might not move into that direction at this point. It might just go straight into majority with forcing Smithing Bell Bearings, Memory of Grace, Sacred Flasks, all of the easier squares. Unless we start seeing a lot of blockages.
This is an interesting Crucible Knight because he's got those breath attacks that the other ones don't.
Which is really annoying too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Creates a lot of spacing.
Big range on those.
But Gino should be seeing that square marked here very soon, that his row 1 is blocked as well. I mean, at the very least, Parky is doing a great job blocking every single potential bingo that Gino can get. She blocked row 5. She blocked column 3. She's blocking row 1. She's doing the best she can to at least stop Gino in his tracks, not just give up the board entirely. Possibly forcing Soldier of Godric after this. This might be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, depending if she picks the right squares to go for next, she could make that majority win a lot more difficult on Gino for sure. There she goes. She gets the third Crucible Knight, lights it up. Gino should see that one getting blocked now.
And there we go. GG's to Parky blocking off row 1. Gino does see that board and does realize that, oh my lord, I got another bingo blocked.
What is she gonna choose next? Looked like it was somewhere in Liurnia that she warped to.
Yep, looks like that she might be going for that Thopsis key that we've been talking about. She doesn't have the Academy key yet, as far as I understand, though. It's just she would have to go and grab that Academy key.
That is correct. Going for the jump down. And where is Gino? Gino's just running around collecting sacred tears, or sacred tears. That's what they're called.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm wondering whose tears are those, actually? Are those America's tears? Are those the tears of people that have killed Alexander?
That's the tears of Twitch chat when their streamer has to kill Alexander every time.
Yeah, I could totally see that, yep. All right, and it looks like she's going to be grabbing that Academy key and forcing Thopsis key. I don't think Gino has Thopsis key yet, does he? Did he already grab that key?
No, Gino has not picked up Thopsis key yet.
He just grabbed that sacred tier near Thops. Got it.
Unless I've misremembered. But it is possible that Parky does pick up Thopsis key before Gino does. She does still have to fight the Red Wolf, but it's she should be pretty okay with that fight with the I believe she's at +4 on the Bloodhound Fang right now. Ooh! Gino eating a giant arrow there, killing Torrent.
Trying to make his way over to, I believe, the Frenzy Church, where there's another sacred tier as well. And Parky looks like she is making her way over to Thops.
Yep.
What's actually your favorite area in the game, by the way, Brett?
Oh, my favorite area is Liurnia. Not Liurnia, sorry, Limgrave. I was confused those two. I love the starting area. I think they put so much like effort into making that first area perfect for the new game experience. It's varied. I really love Limgrave. I think they knocked it out of the park.
I think for me personally, it was Lanedale Capital. I don't, for some reason,
like, absolutely second favorite.
Yeah, just seeing everything just like smothered in gold and like the architecture and just the surroundings, I found it incredibly beautiful, to be honest. And like when you did take that trap chest for that golem that was in that one area in Lanedale Capital that was kind of secluded from the rest of the city, and seeing what you might possibly see in the future was like just such a magical moment in my opinion. Yeah,
no, I agree. Absolutely. That was very, very unexpected and really, really interesting seeing that. Least favorite area in the game. I consider these two areas one area, even though technically they're two, but Mountaintop of the Giants and Consecrated Snowfield. Just like the snow areas.
Really?
Yeah, I hate them.
I'm trying to think of what I disliked the most. Honestly, Moog's area I thought was really annoying to deal with, if I'm being completely honest. Just running through that area was not a lot of fun to me.
I just rushed it. Like, at that point in the game, I was just like, I just want to go fight the boss, and I just rushed through it. Didn't kill anything.
Yeah, so Deep Root Deaths and Moog Moog's Dynasty area were two of probably my least favorites.
Yeah, yeah. Deep Root Depths. When they added ants to the game, I was like, why? Why are there ants in this game?
Yeah, that was actually extremely terrifying too, as well. And
Gino
GG's to
picking up
Gino, by the way.
Ooh, marked it a little early there, maybe.
But oh, he didn't actually upgrade it. He had the tiers, but he didn't actually upgrade the flask, so he unmarked it, and he's going to remark it once he actually upgrades it. There we go. He's going through all the tiers real quick. Good on Gino for realizing that he technically didn't have plus Sacred 7 flasks, but now it does, so he goes ahead and remarks it. So GG's on Gino, having 9-3 at this point.
Yep. So I think, yeah, picking up Thop's Key for Parky. Depending on where Gino goes here, he could still beat her, but looks like he's going Bestial Sanctum.
I think also the giant ants thing. I think the first time I saw the giant ants is when I went to Angel River when you do the Dragonkin Soldier, and I was like, I don't like this. This is actually more terrifying than the giant hands, if I'm being honest, to seeing giant insects that are staring at me.
And Gino now decides to do Gurrank. Interesting decision here.
Looks like he might try and force the diagonal now, going for Goronk, going for Putrid Crystallion, and maybe Blackblade Kindred. That might be what he's looking for here, since they're all kind of in the same area for the most part. And he is really good at these fights, as we know. You know, he's been doing a lot of no-hit challenges and even, fist-only type of challenges, to where he's familiar with every single boss to a very precise points. And we did pass our first hour, by the way, for this match. We're down to 58 minutes at this point.
Parky making quick work of the Red Wolf there, no problem. Gonna go straight, I imagine, straight to Thops's Key.
Yeah, sadly going to take a while. That travel time that Thops's Key does take a bit, which really, really sucks. But she should be able to get that square within the next 3 minutes here, I would say, which would block that column 1 that she's looking at.
I got worried she might get shot in the back after missing some of those jumps there.
It's happened to me, too, dying on the way. Some of those sorcerers have insane aim with those spells.
Yep.
The question is what the reaction is going to be from Parky, seeing that Goronk is possibly dead already, only after an hour of gameplay. If she thinks that maybe he's going for Blackblade Kindred afterwards, which she most likely will in this case, in my opinion, since he is familiar with both of those fights, and just forcing that diagonal then on top of that.
Does Gino do Renala maybe for the 4 different spirits, and then make Parky consider doing 5 bosses in Altus Plateau, because that's a huge time investment.
And there he goes. He marks Goronk on the map. Or on the board, I should say. I'm assuming he's going for Blackblade Kindred right afterwards.
Going into the academy here. So he's going to go for Thops, maybe, or Renala. He's probably going Renala, actually, I think.
Oh, no, Parky doesn't know where the imbued sword key is. Or doesn't know where Thops's Key is. She has to drop all the way down. Yep, drop down to the right here, and then she has to go around the building and then jump across. Yeah, here we go. Now she's going in the right direction here. She's going to jump onto that rooftop right there. I think Aggie is kind of guiding her a little bit, finding that Thops's Key. Now she has to go inside and drop on one of those chandeliers for that key that's sitting right there to her left. There she goes. So she'll be able to grab that and then return to Thops and give that key to him. And there we go. Yep. Oh, she can't mark that yet. She hasn't given it to him yet. She can't mark that. That is incorrect marking. The judges have to let her know she didn't give Thops's key. She just grabbed the key. She didn't return it. That is an incorrect marking on that square.
Yes, that is not
she's
quite
going to
done with that yet.
Yep, she can't mark that. Oh, there we go. We did take that off the board there. So that is an incorrect marking, sadly. So she's still...
Interestingly, I think that actually helps Gino, because now he knows, because he went to Renala. He didn't go for Thop's Key, and now he's thinking, okay, I made the right choice here. I haven't wasted time.
And yeah, sadly, with that also in the ruling stating that if a square is unmarked for a while, even if with it being reset or the refs having to notify, if she gets 2 more marked wrong, she technically would have to forfeit the match. But I doubt that's going to happen again.
Yeah.
Most of the players do realize when they are ready for a square. It's a very rare circumstance when a square is mismarked. But we do have to have rules, sadly. Looks like that we're about to go into phase 2 here for Renala. And it's going to be very interesting to watch how fast those summons are going to come out, and if he's going to actually get the 4 different summons, or if he's going to keep getting wolves back to back to back.
Also going into Renala now. So, depending on RNG, you know, Gino's going to have a huge, huge lead. It's just, can he see them all, stay alive and see them all?
All right, here we go. I'm very interested to see if he's going to get his summons, because it would be very interesting if just Renala just keeps summoning the same summon and Parky gets to catch up and possibly actually snag this square from him.
Absolutely, this could come down to RNG a little bit here. Let's see how the lead that Gino has plays into it.
And we have to make sure here, by the way, also from the refs, that they make sure that these squares are marked timely after the enemy felled thing pops up on screen.
So here's our first one. What do we got?
And we got a dragon on Gino's end here. He can't take that repose because he might kill her. He has to wait for the summons first. So he has dragon here. Now he needs troll, wolves, and bloodhound knight.
Oh, did the NPC follow Parky up the elevator? I just saw him whacking away while she had the iframes into the Renala room.
And there is Gino's bloodhound knight. He has dragon and bloodhound. And Parky currently on phase 1 of Renala, as we can see above my head here as well. Renala not casting at this point in time any summons. Doing a good old Comet Azure. Going straight into Moon, kind of delaying this fight. Being a little bit of a troll, as she likes to be. Not summoning at all.
Giving Parky a chance, maybe.
Oh, here we go. And we got wolves now. 3 for 4, actually. All he needs is Troll to be able to kill Renala. Has to wait this out, waiting for Troll. He gets 1 more hit in. She summons again, and there is the Troll. All of them back to back. Nice RNG for Gino on this one. Now he just gets to go.
That's the RNG you're hoping for.
Exactly. That's exactly the RNG that you want on that Renala square.
Parky's not gonna be happy to see this square get marked.
And there he goes. A nice little Ash of War. Has to wait. Can't mark it until the enemy felled pops on screen here, which is after she's done talking. And there we go. He marks it. GG's to Gino. Marks it 11-4 now. And Parky does see that square being marked and is like, son of a gun. Now she's quitting out right away. Like, what's the point of doing this fight if I can't get that square? Gino is 2 squares away from winning at this point.
So, potentially Soldier Godric with fists and Memory of Grace 50k runes? Yeah, he's going.
Right. He's going. Yeah, straight to Soldier Godric. Yeah, I wonder what she's thinking. She's just not sure exactly which square to go for next, or is she contemplating and trying to figure out where exactly Gino's going next?
How many runes does she have? Could she just Memory of Grace them away? I don't think she's got 50k on her, but
I'm not sure.
Looks like she's going to Volcano Manor.
Gino does have the kill 5 bosses in Altus Plateau, so maybe that's something that she thinks Gino might be rushing at this point, when in reality Gino is going for Soldier of Godric instead at this point.
Yeah, that is... She could have finished Renala as quick as she could and Memory of Grace. Because how many runes do you get from Renala?
40,000, I believe.
Yeah, so with what she has now, she would have had enough to.
She definitely would have had enough.
Yep.
Yeah. She definitely would have had enough for that Memory of Grace. Yeah, it looks like he might be going for that Soldier of Godric Barefist only into maybe Memory of Grace. That would be the 2 fastest squares he can get here just to finish off this bingo board with majority.
Yep. It's looking like that's his plan here. So.
And as we see that whole R2, charged R2 attack on Soldier of Godric here, rather than going for those parries or for those backstabs, it's a little bit faster since you don't have to wait for Soldier of Godric to stand up and you can attack him again. You just can go ahead and just consistently attack back to back by just strafing instead.
Soldier of Godric, of course, not having the most complicated moveset in the world. The most enthralling fight we've ever had. It looks like Parky is back in Raya Lucaria. I'm not quite sure what she's doing.
Sorry, hold on. I'm just responding to something real quick.
Yeah, I'm just absolutely enthralled with GinoMachino's fight with the Soldier of Godric. As we all know, Soldier of Godric is the hardest boss in the game, so to finish him off with your fists is truly impressive, and Gino just absolutely showcasing his knowledge of this extensive moveset that the Soldier of Godric has. Parky does get picked up by the version abductor going to Volcano Manor there, so we'll see. She's probably headed to Rykard, and then maybe going to try in Memory of Grace what the rune she gets from Rykard. We'll see how quickly she can get that done. Gino almost done with Soldier of Godric. Just continuing to strafe and charged R2 here. And just a little bit more health as Parky desperately trying to, but she does have to get through the Godskin Noble before she can get to Rykard. So it is a long way to go.
And as you can see here, Gino does have 12 squares, but keep in mind, by the way, that it does say that a bingo line has to be available, and if a bingo line is available, that majority isn't a possibility to win until bingo lines are not available anymore. So even if Gino has 13 squares, but there are bingo lines still available for Parky, then the victory does not count until that is not a possibility anymore. So line still trumps majority.
Yes. Majority is kind of the fallback if all lines are blocked. It's
so in this case, by the way, it would be either Rykard, Smithing Stone Bell Bearings, Blackblade Kindred, Morgott, or 5 bosses in Altus Plateau. Doesn't matter. Whatever he does, he has to just block row 3, and then he wins.
And it looks like... Now... I just assumed he was going to Memory of Grace, but it looks like he's doing something else here. Potentially going for Blackblade Kindred here. Yes, it looks like he's going for Blackblade Kindred.
Yep, he's going to go for that row 3 block. That's also going to give a majority, but also blocking the bingo possibilities for Parky.
Yep. That would do it.
Which is also going to be very interesting here. I wonder how long this fight's going to take him, because he does have a really strong weapon in this case.
It looks like he's not having too much issue there.
He's doing the nice... Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no...
I was going to mention he's doing the nice Chris strat here where you actually force Blackblade Kindred to stay on the even plane rather than going down the staircase or going down on the hill because of terrain issues. Having Blackblade Kindred stuck in a corner on an even playing field makes it a lot easier for you to dodge, makes it a lot easier for you to punish on these.
Absolutely. He did eat one of the charged sword moves there, but he's able to heal himself back up here. And Parky's still running through. Did she die at one point there? I've been watching the Blackblade Kindred fight here. continuing.
Yeah, so I think she still thinks that he's going for
Halfway.
5 bosses in Altus, so she's still forcing the Virgin Abductor duo here. It looks like that Gino might have this in his pocket. He's definitely getting some good dodges off. The Kindred is on the open field now, so he might have a harder time punishing with it not being stuck against the wall.
Yeah. Just a little bit past half health here. Gets the stagger.
Doesn't get the
not
riposte.
Get the riposte. Parky,
all right, Parky.
in a few hits on the Virgin Abductors here, or Abductor Virgins.
Got a roll here. Very nice Ash of War.
Big
For some
damage
reason, she
there.
doesn't do that much damage. Does she not have the strength tier physic? I don't think she does, actually. She has no buffs currently active on her status bar. Does get hit by that axe attack that is absolutely annoying to deal with as well. She might be able to kill this first Abductor, though. And Gino is killing the Black Blade Kindred here. Oh, a little over half health at this point.
Yeah. She does finish off the first Abductor there. Second Abductor. Ooh. Still gets the damage in despite rolling past there. Gino about a quarter of the health left for the win. It looks like he's not making any mistakes on this Black Blade Kindred.
Yeah, I think once you've fought one of these often enough, and you've dealt with Valiant Gargoyles, by the way, which have the same moveset, you kind of just are getting better and better at this fight, and you start to see exactly where the issues lie. Not necessarily issues, but where the opening windows are for this fight for punishing. The nice thing that Black Blade Kindreds don't have is poison.
Yes. The poison that poisons you, but also does damage while you're standing in it, which is infuriating.
Right.
If they just built up the poison status, it'd be a lot more manageable.
Also, I'm getting informed that possibly some viewers are confused if they're because of what the website states. The website does state whoever gets a first bingo line wins. However, if lines are not available, it goes to majority. And with Gino blocking row 3, Parky cannot have any more bingos, which blocks her from having a bingo line. So he wins by majority by blocking row 3 with this Black Blade Injured square instead of going for an easier square.
She has no win conditions after Gino gets this. So we could force Gino to play it out the whole way, but it's an inevitability at that point.
At this point, yeah, he is basically forcing her to not have a bingo, and she would have to go for majority. But since he already has majority and forces her to not have any bingos, he wins by majority. That's how that works.
And just a few more hits here for Gino.
All right. Yeah, he's got maybe 2 more charged R2s.
Yeah, a couple more anyways. There's this guy has just a boatload of health. He's just a bag of hit points. He forces you to make sure you know his moveset. Ooh, wisp someone there.
All right, here we go. One more R2, and there we go. GG's to Gino, taking the match. It has majority, blocked every single bingo for Parky. Parky is clapping, understanding that the game is over. But honestly, great match from both of them.
He also memory of graced the runes away.
On top of that.
And
Yeah, so he's at 14 right now at this point. But that was still a fantastic boss fight from Gino. Fantastic performance overall. Parky blocking, row 5, blocking column 3, row 1, doing the best she can to try and at least bring down the pressure and try to be on the board as well. I think she did a great job on that part as well. Very, very nice from both of them. I'm going to go ahead and pull in some players as well.
Fantastic.
All right, let's go ahead here. Let me pull in Parky first here. Hey, Parky, how's it going?
Hi, it's good. Welcome.
Welcome in. How do you feel about the match overall? How did you feel about going up against Gino for the first time? Because I know you said you're a little bit nervous on the Gino matchup, but how did you feel overall that you did in this match?
I will be honest, like when that first situation was happening in row 5, I genuinely thought there was a chance he would just get a line and I would not have anything on the board. So I'm pretty happy about that. I don't know what he was doing, obviously, but I'm pretty happy that I got Crucible Knight. I'm very proud of that. As for the rest of them, he like bullied me. That was like absolutely insane. And he like I knew that Gino was a good player, obviously, but I didn't know how he would play because he doesn't do bingo. And also like him and Nico kind of have similar vibes in terms of like they don't play bingo the way the other guys do. Like they don't use the strats that I'm used to. And like so when I play against Chris or Aggie, like I kind of know a little bit how to read them, even if they're faster. Like I can still kind of get ahead sometimes if I need to. But Gino, like, oh my god, him stealing, I'd love to know if he meant to do this. I'm sure he did. He got Red Wolf to throw me off that he's going to do Revenant. You guys obviously saw that I was working on Revenant. Like he just absolutely just bullied me. Like I'm like absolutely shocked and floored with how good he was. Like I'm not even, you guys probably saw me like smiling. I'm not even upset. Like that was just, he just played absolutely incredibly. I'm very impressed. So I'm not even mad. He kept me on my toes. And I will say though, in retrospect, I will say if there was a chance for me to catch up at all, what happened at the end was like I kind of I don't want to say I gave up because I really tried to not like have that mindset, but like if I had done like, okay, he obviously, like I said, he does like the randomest stuff. He just did Blackblade Kindred to flex, I guess, when he could have done something easier. But I think that if assuming like I would have expected him to do maybe the tunnel square. So I went to go to Altis to try and block column 5 because I thought he was gonna do that. And in retrospect, I think I should have just gone for the easy squares because that's obviously what he was trying to do, right? He was going for the easy squares for the majority. I mean, I guess that's not obviously what he was trying to do, but that's what my assumption would have been. So I think in retrospect, I could have caught up a little bit better if I had gone for the easy squares and maybe blocked him from doing like Soldier of Godric, for example. Then that would have pushed him to do something harder. Or not harder, but just take more time, and then I would have had a better chance of catching up. But in general, like, I just think he is an absolute mastermind when it comes to Elden Ring, and I feel like he absolutely bullied me on that match, but it's an honor. It is like such an honor. He played so well, so I'm not even mad about it.
I mean, he definitely took a lot of boss fights earlier on, you know, showcasing obviously his skill and knowledge in boss fights and punishing windows. So that was very interesting to watch. But I still think that, you know, blocking some squares and making sure that you at least had some presence on the board was still a good job. You know, going for the 30 Faith square, even, you know, sadly, you know, stats sinking into 30 Faith and not having the money later on for your actual weapon, which is Bloodhound, or, you know, using that later on for a different weapon. Even then, that was definitely rough to deal with, but that was the only way we're going to be able, you know, block that whole line. But still getting Crucible Knights, getting Omen Killer, I think was still, you know, nice to at least get those blocks, which is really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot I would do differently, like playing against someone like that. I will say I do regret the Academy key just because, I don't know if this is what actually happened, but I think that the Academy key told him that I was at Renala. And I think that, like, my assumption is maybe he got that grace, or I guess he had the grace after Red Wolf anyway. And then maybe he saw me do the Topps' Academy key and then went for that. Maybe, like, maybe he was already doing it, I don't know. But, like, I think I definitely helped him to win for sure. I definitely could have played better. I just, like, I was trying to read him and, like, I would the other guys. And like I was saying in my match, when I've played with Chris and Aggie, like, they've beat me, obviously, but I've gone way closer and been better at blocking them, and the matches actually lasted longer and whatever, because they were doing things that normal, like, bingo players would do. But Gino was just like, why did you do this, Gino? Like, it worked out for him, but I'm just like, there is absolutely no way at all to read him, and I just, like, I don't know, his strat is just, like, so different than everyone else's. I'm just, like, I'm just taken aback. I'm honestly pretty speechless at his gameplay. I'd love to talk to him and ask him about some stuff.
Yeah, I could pull him in right now anyways. Like, give me just a moment here.
Sure.
Welcome in, Gino. GG's on the win, by the way, man.
GG's, dude.
How do you feel overall about that match?
You guys can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely like the opposite of the first one. I feel like, where like I felt like I had decent control for most of it, and like even though I did make a few pretty huge mistakes, especially at the start, I didn't get really too punished for it. So yeah, just totally different.
What did you do that you made a mistake on?
I died of the tree sentinel. I went to, I don't know. I got hit a couple times and then just didn't.
Yeah, that's what we figured. I mean, I'm I'm honored to know you at least died once, dude. Like you are so good, man. I'm very impressed.
Did you, from the very beginning, want it to force majority, or were you trying to like force row 5 from the very beginning, seeing it blocked, and then seeing the options like column 3 and row 1, and just trying to play for an actual bingo line?
Yeah, so I was mostly playing around the bingos, but she did an actually insane job blocking some of my ideas that I had, because I was thinking like row 1 was looking really nice, especially after the Crucible Knight kill, but then she like immediately blocked it. And I'm like, dang, dude, like. But I was just I wasn't really thinking too big picture. I was just taking it like one square at a time, and mostly just trying to look for bingos and ways to force her to do bad stuff, like that 30 faith one, for example. But
Oh
yeah,
my
what
god,
I was scared
so
of,
mean, dude.
what I was scared of, I thought I made a huge mistake at the start, because when I went for that Tree Sentinel plus 0 kill, I was like, okay, she probably skipped it thinking that I'm gonna do it, and then she's gonna go for row 5 and get that 2-in-1 for the Royal Knight Revenant plus the Revenant plus the horse kill, and then like get Red Wolf set up, and then get the Renala set up, and get Thop's Key set up, and all that stuff. I'm like, man, I probably made a huge mistake. But yeah, it sounded like, I don't know, it was pretty close for that. I don't know.
Dude, the Royal Revenant, like I was like, oh, like I was so close to getting that. I was so mad that you got
really?
that from me, because my plan was I was
Yeah.
also kind of taking it slow, and like I was saying to the guys, like I have no idea what how you play. I've never seen you play. Hey guys, just give me a second. Yeah, you were playing so differently from everyone else. So I was like, so I was going for Royal Revenant initially because I knew that you would go for Tree Sentinel, I guess, or that's what I thought. And then you did Red Wolf, and I was like, okay, so he's gonna go do Red Wolf, he's gonna go do Renala, he's gonna do Topsis Key, because that's what people would normally do.
Yeah.
And like when I play with someone who's better than me, I have to like try and like learn, like think about what their path is, and like try and just like mess with that, just because if like you're obviously just faster than me in general. And so I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna do the Royal Revenant Torrent kill, and then I was like maybe gonna do Legendary Armament, or like I had some stuff planned out. But you took, so yeah, then I was like, okay, so he's in Raya Lucaria, GG's, and then you fucking got the Revenant, dude. I was like, that is, dude. And then I'm super happy I got Crucible Knight. I don't know, were you close to getting that one at all?
No, so I went for the Crucible Mistborn duo, and then I was thinking like you were probably gonna try to block me on either like the sacred. I thought you were gonna go for the sacred flasks. So I was thinking I was gonna do the duo, like the 3 duo trio fights, and then like go clean up the 2 more crucibles. But
yeah, so what this looked like to me, because I kept trying to like figure out what you were working on, but to me it actually felt like you had a grace unlocked everywhere. Like your Renala kill was so fast. Were you?
I got lucky.
You...
Like,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got the 4 like summons in a row, and so it
Okay.
just like it was not slow at all. And then, yeah, I was really scared at the start. Like, so the reason I went for Red Wolf is because I thought that you were gonna go for the Revenant and stuff with the like the 2-in-1, and so I was just thinking like the most damage control thing I could do is just try to win to Red Wolf, and then you get those 2, and then I have 2, and then it's just like we go from there. But
no, that really messed me up. The reason why that took me so long is because I needed runes, and then I was like, I died to Margit once, and then I was like, okay, let me just go get the fucking the talisman, whatever, like the Alexander one and stuff. And then I went back, and then yeah, like you just need runes for that to level up the thing, unless like you know something that I don't. And so that's why it took so long. And then so that's why I was so shocked. I guess you had Red Wolf runes though, right? To level up the thing.
I don't even remember what I did. Yeah, I had Red Wolf runes, but it's not that many.
It's like 12,000, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, is it really that much?
Yeah, it's like, I think it's like 10k, 12k. It's like, it's a good amount.
Oh yeah, maybe. I went for the way I got the runes is from the Knights Cavalry. Like, so when I did the 5 horse bosses, I was thinking like Knights Cavalry Kaled just gives a shit ton, and I would just use all that, and so it kind of made a bit sense to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, dude. Did I like did I keep you on your toes ever? Like, did I block you
No, you
at
blocked
all?
you blocked everything I was gonna do. Like I was gonna I was gonna kill Garunk and then go for the 30 Faith too, just to like, I don't know, try to snake a bingo or something.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
blocked
yeah.
that one, and then my next idea was I was gonna do the 5 horse bosses and then Omen Killer, and then like leave it for a race for Blackblade Kindred. But then you, like right when I was going to Omen Killer, you got it, and then same with the Crucible. The one that wasn't really had an impact was the Thops key.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
but at that point, it's kind of tough to figure out what to do, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a little bit of a debate if I'll go Renala or Tops' key. I was fighting her on phase 2 when you got that square. So if I had done that
Oh,
instead, I
wow.
would have got that from you probably. I don't know, dude. I just thought you
True.
were gonna do Tops' key because you had Red Wolf, and it's just like an easy like majority square or whatever. But like, no, I literally, dude, I had like no clue what you were ever doing. Other like I don't know. Every time I was like, okay, like this is what someone who knows bingo would probably do. Let me go try and block this. And you're like doing some other random stuff. I'm like, oh my God. It's like, I
Yeah.
literally felt like, I don't know if you were doing it on purpose or if you just like, I don't know, don't really know what people normally do in bingo or if you even care or whatever. But I was just like, it is so hard to read you. I mean, you probably did it on purpose. Like you probably planned
No,
to
that's
mess with me.
literally just probably lack of bingo experience. Like I did what I just thought made sense to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's like the meta strats that people do. I guess I'll figure that out as the bingo league goes on. But
I
but
mean,
no,
it's not
it's
like.
it definitely sounds like it was closer than like it looks. I think like especially if some of these were really close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
you
I just
blocked
got
me
it
on
like
like
slightly
was.
before.
there was like a couple of them that I was literally working on, and then you sniped, and like I feel like if Royal Revenant, if I got that, which I was so close, I think that it would have been very different, a lot of stuff. But like
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't know. I think you absolutely deserve that. Like I'm very shocked at how you played that. You like it literally felt like I was just like I mean I was pretty positive the whole time just because
Mm.
I don't know, I was blocking you still and it wasn't completely hopeless, but like it is very, very hard to plan around someone who is hard to read.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, when I'm just like, why would he do that? Like it worked out for you, but it's just like I was like, there's no way for me to know anything. And like you're obviously very fast, and so it's like, okay, now he's in this area, and then you're just like Sacred Flask +7. Like I have no idea how you did that quickly. That's insane. I was gonna go for that actually, but I would have had to. I wasn't even in Weeping ever, so.
But yeah, it's a great match between the two of you. Thanks so much for popping in for the interview, by the way. And yeah, I think if there's one thing you guys could actually move from this match into future matches, by the way, from the last 2 weekends, what is something that you would take to your match next week that you'll utilize more as well and like prioritize?
Do you want to go first, Gino?
Yeah, I think the biggest, like, other than that death I had at the very start, which like that was bad, but well, like the first match was good for me because I got to feel what it was like to like obviously I have a pretty severe lack of bingo experience at this point. Hopefully that'll be better in the future, but I got to feel what it was like to play from behind and have to like rush to go do stuff to block my opponent from winning. So like it was good to just get that experience. So like moving forward, I could be kind of more calm in that situation. But then, like when it comes to just like specific stuff, like on the board, I think I just need to get better at reading the board. Like going for row 5, I think would have been the best play at the start, and instead I went for the Tree Sentinel. So it's just like it's a small thing like that, but yeah, that's what I would say.
I would say since I'm like. Since the way that I'm playing is since I'm like obviously weaker than most of the players, if not all, I try to. I think the only way I can win against some people is to try and use like what I know is their weakness or whatever. But I feel like in this case, what I did wrong is I kind of gave up at the end, and I really think I could have prolonged it even a little bit. But honestly, like other than that, it's just like. I don't know. I think I will say I think the biggest thing for me is not to take any risks. Like when I fought Margit, like with like super underleveled or whatever, it's just like I already know that's not gonna work out for me. I need to just stop doing that and just do my setup and do what I know. And so I think if I didn't die to Margit, I think that was the difference between the Royal Revenant square for sure. So I guess I would just make a bigger effort to not take any risks. and just like play my game and like not try and think about their weaknesses. But it's just like it's very difficult to try to like it's very hard because I just know if it was like a race like 1 to 10 I would lose every time just because everyone is like so fast. So I don't know. I'm pretty happy with this experience though against Gino just because you play so differently, and like Nico was similar too. Like you guys just play both so differently. So I just think I need to commit to my game and do what I know how to do. And like at the end here, I went for the Altus bosses because I just assumed he was gonna go call 5, even though that was obviously not the smartest idea at all. So I just need to focus on what I'm doing, and not give up a little bit too early.
Gotcha. Thanks for sharing, guys. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Thanks so much for popping in, and good luck to both of you in your next match next week.
Okay, thank you
GGs.
guys.
Thank you. GG's.
Bye.
Holy shit, that was long. Yo, what's up, Brett? How's it going, buddy? I haven't heard you talk in a hot minute. Nah, it's nice to get insight from the
hear
players.
their thoughts and hear
Yeah.
them talk to each other about what they were thinking the whole time, right? I think honestly, I think Parky did way better than the score might lead you to believe. Like she did block every bingo that Gino was going for there. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's
ahead of time too. She saw that was potentially coming up, and she made sure she was on the way there already before it became too dire. So
yeah, exactly.
good for her.
It was nice to see that, or nice to hear their thought process as well, because at the end of the day, we're also kind of just like guesstimating what their thoughts are and just like speculating, oh, this is why they're doing this is why they're doing that. But then actually, after the fact, hearing why exactly they did something is always interesting to hear, for sure. I agree.